Did you know that the current biggest indoor arena and the biggest indoor arena in construction are all located in the Philippines? The current largest indoor arena is the Philippine Arena, with a capacity of 55,000 and holds the Guinness World Record for largest mixed-use indoor theater. This may be big, but would be considered rather small when compared to the KJC King Dome currently in construction, still in the Philippines, and doesn't have as good a backstory either. For context, the KJC Dome will have a capacity of 75,000, and the backstory, well, let's just say it was initially being built by a celebrity pastor who was also a self-proclaimed son of God, and who has since been arrested on charges of alleged sex trafficking by force, fraud and coercion, and sex trafficking of children, conspiracy, and bulk cash smuggling. The details of this particular event are, of course, a story for another day. Today, however, we'll be discussing Philippine architecture. It's no easy feat to boast the two biggest indoor arenas in the world, and as such, we'll discuss the evolution of Philippine architecture through history and what the future of Philippine architecture looks like. Much like in other civilizations, the pre-colonial period saw Filipinos move from living in caves to primitive huts and tree houses to the famed Bahay Kubo, or nipa hut. The Bahay Kubo is a stilted, lightweight structure made of bamboo, nipa, and other natural materials. Designed for the tropical climate, it has elevated floors to prevent flooding, large windows for ventilation, and steep roofs for efficient rain runoff. The Bahay Kubo embodies simplicity and sustainability, reflecting the agricultural lifestyle of early Filipinos. It is quite simply a house that breathes. It is an icon of Philippine culture as it represents bayanihan, a spirit of communal unity or effort to achieve a particular objective. The bamboo is tied together and covered with thatched roof using nipa or anahal leaves. During the Spanish colonial period from 1565 to 1898, the Spanish influenced the architecture, leading to what was then called Antillan architecture, and as such, the Bahay Kubo evolved into what was then called the Bahay na Bato, combining indigenous Chinese and Spanish elements. They were typical houses of noble Filipinos in the 19th century. They are considered the apex in the development of Filipino architecture. Ground floors were made of stone or brick for durability, while upper floors used wood and capiz shell windows. Features like inner courtyards and wide balconies provided comfort in the tropical heat. Spanish Baroque churches, such as San Agustin Church in Manila, Santa Monica, and St. John the Baptist Church, showcased massive stone structures with intricate carvings and fortress-like designs. It was made of volcanic tuff or adobe stone, coral stone, or brick. It is rectangular with high and thick walls supported by buttresses. Forts, which are strong and fortified permanent army posts, and plazas, which are public squares usually located near urban buildings and walkways, were also built, prominent examples being Fort Santiago and Plaza Miranda. There was equally the government building, or capital, located a meter away from the church in the area. It was the home of higher-ranking persons, such as Spanish friars. When it comes to attractions associated with this unique Spanish-influenced architecture, visitors to Vigan have enough to discover. From towering churches with finely carved Baroque decorations to mysterious temples hidden among the mountainsides, the city has something for everyone who arrives. Visitors can marvel at landmarks like the St. Paul Cathedral or stroll through the scenic Calle Crisologo, which features museum-like heritage residences. Moving on to the American colonial period from 1898 to 1946, the Americans introduced civic and government buildings inspired by Western classical architecture, giving rise to what is now called neoclassical and Art Deco designs. Examples include the Manila Central Post Office and the Legislative Building, now called the National Museum of Fine Arts. Urban planning and architecture served the need for secular education and public service. American architect Daniel Burnham's plans for Manila and Baguio emphasized wide roads, public parks, and structured city layouts. He equally recommended the development of canals, the construction of a bay shore boulevard, waterfronts, schools, and hospitals. For those moving up to the middle class, the chalet was the go-to for housing. It was a simple house with a living room, bedroom, dining, kitchen, and bath, with a vaulted ceiling, enough to accommodate their needs. Japanese influence during the Japanese occupation from 1942 to 1945 was subtle, but evident in the use of natural materials and minimalist designs during the reconstruction efforts after the war. Perhaps most notable are the numerous heritage towns and cities, many of which have been intentionally destroyed by the Japanese through fire tactics in World War II and the Americans through bombings during the same war. After the war, the government of the Empire of Japan withheld from giving funds to the Philippines for the restoration of the heritage towns they destroyed, effectively destroying any chances of restoration since the pre-war Philippines economy was devastated and had limited monetary supply. On the other hand, the United States gave minimal funding for only 2 of the hundreds of cities they destroyed, namely Manila and Baguio. Today, only the centers of Filipino heritage towns and cities remain in most of the expansive heritage cities and towns in the country. Yet, some heritage cities in their former glory before the war still exist, such as the UNESCO city of Vigan, which was the only heritage town saved from American bombing and Japanese fire and kamikaze tactics. The country currently lacks a city-town singular architectural style law. Due to this, unaesthetic cement or shanty structures have taken over heritage buildings annually, destroying many former heritage townscapes. Some heritage buildings have been demolished or sold to corporations and have been replaced by commercial structures such as shopping centers, condominium units, or newly furnished modern-style buildings, destroying the old aesthetics of many former heritage towns and cities. This is one of the reasons why UNESCO has repeatedly withheld from inscribing further Filipino heritage towns in the World Heritage List since 1999. Only the heritage city of Vigan has a town law that guarantees its singular architecture shall always be used in constructions and reconstructions. Silay, Iloilo City, and San Fernando de Pampanga have ordinances giving certain tax exemptions to owners of heritage houses. In 2010, the Philippine Cultural Heritage Act was passed into law, effectively giving protection to all cultural heritage properties of the Philippines. However, despite its passage, many ancestral homeowners continue to approve the demolition of ancestral structures. In certain cases, government entities themselves were the purveyors of such demolitions. After gaining independence in 1946, Filipino architects embarked on a journey to redefine their identity. The post-colonial era marked a period of experimentation where architects sought to balance influences from the Spanish, American, and Japanese occupations with indigenous Filipino traditions. After independence, architects sought to create a distinct Filipino architectural style. Leandro Locsin's works, such as the Cultural Center of the Philippines, blended brutalism with elements like open spaces and local materials. Designs adapted modernist principles to the Philippine climate, incorporating wide eaves, cross-ventilation, and shaded courtyards in what could be called tropical modernism. At the turn of the 20th century, a new style of Philippine architecture emerged, the international style, which incorporated elements from both local culture and international influences. This style embraced modern building materials like concrete and metal frames filled with hollow cement blocks, to give structures a sleeker and more contemporary look compared to earlier eras. Notable examples include Jaro Cathedral in Iloilo City, built in 1897, and San Fernando de Dilao Church in Paco, Manila, completed in 1910. These buildings featured flat roofs, large floor-to-ceiling glass windows, and walls made from concrete or metal frames filled with hollow cement blocks, all giving these structures a more modern look than their earlier era's counterparts. In the 1920s, one architect named Juan Nakpil changed the course of Philippine architecture forever by utilizing local materials such as bamboo instead of relying solely on imported components like stone or brick. His work revolutionized what it meant to create something uniquely Filipino with an international influence, thus beginning his distinct aesthetic that can still be seen today throughout many buildings across the country. During the Industrial Revolution, Philippine mid-century modern architecture emphasized adaptability and efficient use of space. Architects prioritized negative spaces, open corridors, and spacious lobbies to enhance cross-ventilation and create airy, comfortable environments. Buildings were characterized by significant setbacks from roads and neighboring structures, giving them a distinct appearance. Innovative use of local materials like bamboo, rattan, and adobe reflected sustainable practices and celebrated Filipino craftsmanship. These materials went beyond functionality, highlighting a connection to the natural world and heritage. Architectural features such as expansive openings, shaded canopies, and high ceilings were designed to suit the tropical climate, optimizing natural light, ventilation, and rainwater management. This approach blended simplicity with practicality, ensuring comfort and harmony with the environment. Today, there are multiple notable landmarks of Philippine contemporary architecture. Some of these include the Cultural Center of the Philippines complex, designed by national artist Leandro Locsin, stands as a landmark in Metro Manila, showcasing Filipino art and culture. It features notable venues such as the Tanghalang Nicanor Abelardo, a 1,500-seat theater for global performances, Tanghalang Francisco Balagtas, an open-air amphitheater, and the Silangan Hall and Gardens, an art gallery for contemporary works. Additional facilities include the Tanghalang Aurelio Tolentino, an underground theater, the Tanghalang Manuel Conde, and Rosa Santos Real Cinematheque halls, and convention spaces for events. Grand Hyatt Manila, completed in 2017, is an iconic skyscraper in Bonifacio Global City, standing at 318 meters with 66 stories. Its modern design features fully glazed, reflective walls that sparkle at night. The building houses luxurious amenities, including swimming pools, private lounges, gyms, retail spaces, dining options, and exclusive residential units on its upper floors, making it a sought-after property. The Sky Suites Tower in Quezon City, developed by Double Dragon Corporation, features two 223-meter twin towers with a sleek curvilinear facade and glass walls. It offers exclusive residential units, amenities such as swimming pools, private lounges, roof terraces, a sky lobby, and modern retail and dining spaces, blending luxury with contemporary living. These architectural marvels highlight the ambition and innovation of Filipinos, positioning the Philippines as a premier destination for tourism and property investment in Asia. With a growing number of landmarks and cutting-edge designs, the country continues to attract locals and international visitors alike. The Filipinos prioritize sustainability and cultural fusion. As such, green architecture became a focus, with buildings like the Zuelig Building and Arthalan Century Pacific Tower earning international environmental certifications. Also, contemporary designs often integrate traditional motifs, such as the use of woven patterns, local materials, and references to heritage in modern structures. The future of Filipino architecture is defined by innovative designs, sustainable practices, and urban planning tailored to the country's unique challenges. Local eco-friendly materials like bamboo, rattan, and adobe are being reimagined for modern construction, emphasizing renewable and sustainable resources. Green architecture features, such as solar panels, rainwater harvesting systems, and passive cooling techniques, are increasingly integrated into designs. LEED-certified buildings. Projects like the Zuelig Building and Arthalan Century Pacific Tower showcase global standards in energy efficiency and environmental sustainability. The future doesn't look bleak at all, not with urban planning innovations like smart cities, which comprise developments like New Clark City, prioritize walkability, green spaces, and efficient public transportation, aiming for a sustainable, urban lifestyle. Mixed-use spaces, which combine residential, commercial, and recreational facilities in one area, reduce urban sprawl and promote convenience. For resilience and climate adaptation, architects are focusing on structures that can withstand typhoons, earthquakes, and floods, which is crucial for the Philippines' disaster-prone geography. In tropical architecture, high ceilings, shaded canopies, and cross-ventilation are reimagined to suit the modern tropical aesthetic. Designs incorporate Filipino motifs, weaving patterns, and traditional aesthetics while utilizing cutting-edge technology. Projects emphasize spaces that foster community interaction, reflecting Filipino values of bayanihan and togetherness. Meanwhile, Philippine architecture is gaining international and global recognition with Filipino architects, like Kenneth Cobonpue and Royal Pineda, gaining international acclaim by showcasing Filipino talent on a global stage. The rise of signature skyscrapers and iconic landmarks positions the Philippines as a hub of modern architectural excellence in Asia. In conclusion, Filipino architecture is a testament to the nation's adaptability and creativity. It has seamlessly evolved from the simplicity of the Bahay Kubo to the grandeur of Spanish and American influences, and finally to innovative, sustainable, and distinctly Filipino designs in modern times. This journey reflects the Filipinos' deep respect for tradition and their openness to global trends.